Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees meeting, November 14th, 2022. Clerk Konecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Salella.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar. Here. Trustee Murphy. Here. Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazan.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please stay standing. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Amen. Okay, next item is public comments on agenda items. Clerk Konecki, anyone signed up?
We just have Cheryl Tucker is signed in regarding 11F.
Hello, Board. As a member of the Park and Records Commission, I'm just asking that the Board approve the 3D design to continue working with the village and the Park and Rec Department on Lufkin Park project, so the project can continue and move forward without any more delay. We've had a couple delays already happening, so I'm hoping that the Board will approve this so we can at least move forward and stay on schedule. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else comments on agenda items? Seeing none, item 4, amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to proclamation. We have proclamation?
It's 2 for the school principal.
We have the,
Even
we just handle it outside
Oh, okay.
for Principals Day and
Okay.
or School Board Day and Principals Month.
We just gonna do those.
Took care of that separately.
Okay. Okay. Item 6, consent agenda. Item 6A, minutes from the October 24th, 2022 regular meeting of the Village Board, October 24th, 2022 public hearing, November 5th, 2022 coffee with the Village Board, and November 7th, 2022 special meeting of the Village Board. And item 6B, bill listings for the weeks of October 24th and 31st, 2022, and November 7th, 2022, in a total amount of $1,890,692.09. And we have a motion for the consent agenda. Trustee Kumar,
I'll make that motion.
we have a second. Trustee Corkery, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Konecki, please.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
President Kazan.
Yes. Okay, item 7A is appointment to the Community Fund Commission. Corrine Alfano, term of November 14th, 2022 to April 30th, 2025. And David Samples, term November 14th, 2022 to April 30th, 2025. And appointment to the Historical Preservation Commission, Lori Lococo, term November 14th, 2022 to April 30th, 2025. Do we have a motion for these appointments? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar?
I will second that motion.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Konecki. Trustee Kumar?
I'm just very happy that we are getting these positions filled in all our committees. It's all the volunteers that are on board. Thank you so much.
Okay, Clerk Konecki.
Okay, Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
President Kazan.
Yes. Okay, item 8A is the first reading on an ordinance to be codified. Ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, Illinois, amending the fees for emergency medical transportation and related services. Manager Harley.
This ordinance, if passed, would increase and simplify ambulance rates for calls for service to the Villa Park Fire Department. The formula would set the rate based on the Ground Emergency Medical Transport, or GEMT, funding formula that attempts to measure the total cost to the entity supplying the paramedic and/or ambulance service. And this is first reading. If you want to continue it to the next meeting, that will not be a problem. But I do not have a detailed number yet on the amount of money that we could actually raise with this funding, but I know that currently that we are well below, as the chart that we provided you with and was updated today, compared to neighboring cities. Right now, I believe in several cities you'd be better off if if you had your accident at such a time as your city's ambulance service was busy and we came to do mutual aid and came to and took you to the hospital or provide paramedic service. So this is an increase. It would affect people who are paying a part or all of their ambulance bill out of their pocket, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were saying that nearly 70% of our ambulance service is for people on Medicaid. 65% on Medicaid. So the Medicaid will reimburse us at the GEMT rate or whatever we're charging. We're asking for half the GEMT rate in town or for residents, and 3/4 of the GEMT rate for non-residents. This means if you happen to be in Lombard and you get a Villa Park ambulance, you still get charged the resident rate. But if you have people visiting at your house and you call them and they're not from Villa Park, they would be charged the non-resident rate, because the other half is borne by the taxpayers of Villa Park. This is about right now we're at just around $800 for a basic ambulance service for a resident, and this would be closer to $1,200. Of course, many of these fees are going to be paid by private insurance, and we have always had a way to work directly with individuals who have to pay some over all of the costs because they don't have insurance to cover it. And if they don't have the means to do it, we've always been able to either make payment plans or forgive it as necessary. So we have those are the options, and we really, staff recommends passage of this ordinance with so that we can. This will also defray the costs if we were to add additional firefighters in the next year's budget.
Okay. Okay, so this is a first reading. Trustee Kumar,
Can I make a motion to waive the second reading?
waive the first reading?
Well, I mean, waive the first reading.
Sure you can. Okay, so there's a motion to waive the first reading. We have a motion to waive the second. Trustee Kozar?
I'll second that motion to waive the first.
Okay. Any discussion on it? Trustee Murphy?
I just have a question. On the paragraph A above the price structure,
Yes.
it says that the Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Services add 50% of the GEMT rate for local residents and 75% of the GEMT rate to WIT.
Should we? I can.
I would anticipate that was to say non-resident?
Well, it's non-residents and then I left out the word to non-residents. I thought I added, and then to WIT, and these are what that would actually break out to. So I did leave out that word.
Perfect, so we can modify, correct that.
Yeah.
Text correction. Super, thank you.
Okay, can we have a vote on the waiving the first reading? Clerk Konecki?
Okay, trustee Sillala?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy? Yes. Trustee Corkery?
No.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar? Yes. President Casone?
Yes. Okay. So we can have a motion to pass the ordinance amending the fees for emergency medical transport. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay. Any seconds? Trustee Kumar? Okay, we should probably say, as amended.
Yes,
Let's,
yes.
so we have the motion in a second?
Yes.
Okay. And then if someone could make a motion to amend so that it's clarified that that 75% is applicable to non-residents?
For non-residents of, 75% of the GIMP for non-residents, of the 75% of the GIMP rate
Yep.
for non-residents to wit, and then that is, the
Correct.
yeah.
Okay. Trustee Murphy.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar?
I will second that motion.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay. Clerk Konecki.
This
Okay,
is, just clarification, this is the vote on the amendment.
And the amendment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, amended. Right. Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar? Yes. President Kazan?
Yes. Okay.
No, they just amended, yeah, that's just
Yeah,
amended.
that was-
Amendment, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Okay, so now we'll have a vote, or
the
kind of
vote.
a motion, or do we already have it?
We already had the
You already have the
motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
The amendment was passed, and now we'll call the vote on the motion, on the ordinance as amended.
Any questions or comments? Okay, Clerk Konecki.
Okay. Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar? Yes. Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazan?
Yes, okay, so that passes. Okay, item 9A is a second reading of an ordinance to be codified. It's an ordinance amending Article 6 entitled Uses of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Villa Park regarding accessory uses and structures and temporary uses. Andrew Harlan.
Yes, this ordinance will make the following amendments to Article 6, uses, corrects uses. It corrects language from accessory building to accessory structures, creates a table of bulk regulations, and updates setback height and area requirements for accessory structures, and adds standards for temporary moving and storage containers. The staff recommends approval of the ordinance amending Article 6, uses of the zoning ordinance. And also, we have Community Development Director Mark McLaughlin here if anybody has any questions.
Okay. We have a motion on the ordinance. Trustee Murphy?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kozar?
I'll make a second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Kozar?
I was able to sit down with Mark last week, and we went through this. One change that I'd like to propose that Mark assisted with here is under 6.11 temporary uses with regard to the shipping or moving containers when people are moving on a temporary basis. The flaw as written is basically if the person who is selling the house and moving has a temporary moving container and puts it on the property, then the buyer who comes in to move can't have a temporary container on their driveway. Follow what I'm saying? So the way that it's written, it says you can only have one in any year, any calendar year. What I'm suggesting is that you can have up to two in a calendar year, and that would accommodate the seller moving out and the buyer moving in. So it would read time and restrictions for a specific application, existing principal building. No more than one temporary storage moving and storage container shall be permitted per zoning lot in all residential districts at a time for no more than 30 consecutive days, strike per calendar year, and then add a temporary moving and storage container may be allowed on a lot up to 2 times per calendar year. And that would accommodate the seller, and that would accommodate the buyer.
Okay, now which section is that?
6.11,
So it's located in Section 7 of the ordinance,
Okay.
and then it's 6.11.2H.
H,
of the
okay,
code,
okay.
subparagraph 2 of that H section. So time restrictions for specific application. 2A is the amended
2A,
paragraph.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to amend the ordinance, section 7, H2A, allowing 2 times per calendar year. Is that what you're looking for?
Correct.
Okay,
But no more than 30 days at a time.
no more than 30, keep it at 30 days, okay. Okay, so we have a motion, do we have a second on that? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, any questions or comments? Trustee Murphy?
Yes, I'd like to get input from the commission on that.
The commission?
The commission?
Don't we have a commission member representing? The conversation was with the commission. I would like to get input from the commission on their perspective on that conversation and what their planning
Does
is
Mr.
on.
Orlowski speak for the commission?
Well, he can speak for himself on that, I guess.
I can speak for myself. The only thing that I look at is I think it would be covered the way it was written based on the mover and the seller would be 2 different people. So if you're gonna do it and you say it's for one per year, it would still be covered if you leave it the way it is, because each incident will be 2 different people.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case, though. Why don't we ask the community development director?
Stacking last time. Good evening. The concern that Trustee Kozar had brought up when we met with this was that the permit is limited to the property. It's not consecutive ownership. So it's one time per 30 days in a calendar year. So if the occupant is moving out and uses the 30 days, I cannot issue a permit to the new person who's coming in, even if they're coming with a pod. They'd be in violation by putting that pod on their driveway. So this gives the flexibility of the move out and the move in on a particular property. It would end up being 2 permits, one for the current resident and one for the new resident. But they both get 30 days, and it would both be permitted.
So you would be in favor of the change?
I am in favor of the language, yeah.
Thank you.
Just what theoretically, one person could have 2 in a year, and if you sold it, so there's no perfect solution, but this
No.
is much easier to administer than any.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the other one, you could say it's one permit split by 15 days, and the owner is then giving it to the person, but that's, no, you apply for your permit, you get 30 days.
You don't get the same pod, I'll guarantee
Exactly,
you.
yeah.
Trustee Kumar?
How many times does that actually has this come up? Do we have any statistics on how many times people actually want 2 pods in 1 pod? If it's a rare occurrence, it's okay to change the language. I don't see any.
We do not have stats on this. This accounts for every sale of single-family residential homes. So this just covers it.
It just covers
Yep.
it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Trustee Kozar?
Since you're up there, Mark, just to clarify, for all these amendments, text amendments that are being made, in the event that something is being changed in our code, the existing homeowner, if they don't necessarily conform to the new text amendment, they would be considered an existing non-conforming. So whatever changes we're making, it doesn't mean that every homeowner has to study our ordinances and run out and make the change tomorrow.
Correct.
They're, essentially, like, to use the term, grandfathered in until such time as they have to go make a change, get a permit, do something different to their property. Is that an accurate way to say it?
Yeah, if there's any changes that we're making now that make whatever they have on their property no longer conforming to the current code that you guys are about to vote on, it falls under the non-conforming status. And we have an entire section in our zoning ordinance referring to nonconformities, and we would have to follow that, how that use goes away, how that structure goes away. They're allowed to keep it until something actually happens. either destruction or stop of use or something along those lines. But it's not normally ownership. You can transfer non-conformity from owner to owner. It stays with the land.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a vote on the amending the ordinance for Konecki.
Okay, trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Solella,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, so we have an ordinance that's amended. We have a motion to pass the ordinance as amended. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pass the amendment as the motion as amended.
Okay, we have a second? Trustee Kumar?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any questions or comments? Clerk Konecki, please.
Okay, trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Solella,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes, okay, so the ordinance passes as amended. Item 9B, an ordinance amending Article 7 entitled Parking of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Villa Park regarding driveways and parking areas. Major Harlan.
Sorry. An ordinance is amending, sorry, just got my temporarily distracted. Everything's back to, this ordinance makes the following, nope, still got the wrong one. All right. This ordinance will make the following amendments to Article 7, parking, amending the allowable width of a driveway, cross-referencing Table 2-3, and updates the standards for pavement. Staff recommendation is for passage of the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Murphy?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Trustee Kumar?
Here,
Questions or comments? Trustee Kozar?
So in the last meeting, I had suggested by motion that we drop 7.8.5 under circular driveways, low-growing evergreen shrubs, that the village would require a homeowner to plant low-growing evergreen shrubs along the length of their circular driveway. I thought it was just government overreach. That was voted down. So the way that it's written, I think you, Nick, and Dave, and trustee Murphy voted it down. I'd like to know, along that, what is your solution for, number one, how close do these shrubs need to be? I mean, can they be 10 or 15 feet apart? How tall do the shrubs need to be? Do they need to be kept 12 inches tall? Can they be cut to the level ground? What happens post-construction if they're removed or if they die off? Is there something that they have to go back in or they don't have to go back in? And what side of the driveway are they supposed to go on? The reason for evergreen shrubs, I can only imagine, would be to prevent the headlights when you do the circle, but it's not illustrated in there. So maybe one of you three can explain these flaws in the way, or we can revisit the motion and just remove the government overreach of planting low-growing evergreen shrubs on driveways.
This is trustee Murphy. It would be my understanding that that's a staff question and not a question to the board members.
Yeah. Well, and I think Director McLaughlin had brought that up at the meeting. What are your thoughts on that, on height of bushes, and what is standard on that?
Three feet would be the standard. If you follow the requirements for a site triangle, you have anywhere between 0 and 3, and then 3 to 10 is the open. So if you're trying to actually prevent a visual, you would go from 0 to 3, headlights and something along those lines. But there is not a specific standard in our ordinance. That would be my interpretation if somebody comes in and says, how do we accomplish what the intent of the code was? It's not in there. So that would be me having a conversation with someone applying for a permit for a circular drive.
Correct, yeah, so so this would be at the discretion
Yeah.
of the director.
Yep.
Yep. Trustee Kumar?
It looks like this ordinance with the with the evergreen shrubs or whatever it is kind of a discretionary one to begin with. So is there some way to write it into our code that it will be at the discretion? Because, I mean, it looks like they'll have to have some discretion on that. You know, circular driveways are rare. There's a few of them in town, and there's got to be some discretion in setting them up, it looks like, anyway. Because we don't have I mean, evergreen shrubs is not clear, obviously.
I mean, it can be amended into the ordinance. There are several of the zoning ordinances where it is up to the discretion of the community development director. So they can be added into it if the board would want to do that.
I would think that would be better, just if it is a case of, you know, there's a lot of ambiguity in the circular driveways, and it depends on which house is next to yours, how that circular driveway is placed, and how the light is going to hit the door next door. So there's a little bit of ambiguity there, you know. Some lights can be more offensive to the next door neighbors than others, and, you know, it depends on how it actually falls.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we can do that if someone wants to make that motion to amend it. Low-growing evergreen shrubs should be installed, maintained along the length of the driveway, size and type to be determined by the director.
I would like to make that amendment.
Okay. Trustee Murphy?
Yes, I don't have a problem with the way that you just worded it. I just would be concerned about making a decision where some people have to have it and other people don't, based on where they're situated and what their circumstances, because I think you're going to get a lot of pushback on that. So either, if we leave it in, I have no problem leaving it at the discretion of the director as to how big the evergreens are and how far apart they're placed. But I would not like to see it where we're letting one person do it and another person not, because I think that's going to be a problem.
Well, that would be up to the community development director, and I think, you know, I would hope that they would be consistent in their decision-making on that.
Me too.
So is that a motion? Are you second?
Did you want to second that, Trustee Murphy?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay. Okay, any questions or comments on the amendment to the ordinance? Okay, seeing none. Clerk Kornecki?
Okay, Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
No.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes,
President Kazone.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so if someone wants to make a motion. Okay, so it would make it as amended. Okay. Okay, so there is a motion out there already. Any discussion on the amended ordinance? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, this would be a vote on the ordinance as amended.
Yes. Okay, Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
yes,
Trustee Kozar,
No.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, so that ordinance passes as amended. Okay, item 9C, an ordinance amending Article 9 entitled Site Design and Performance Standards of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Villa Park regarding landscaping, screening, and intersections. Manager Harline.
This ordinance will make the following amendments to Article 9, Site Design and Performance Standards. It creates the availability to review site triangle requirements in certain commercial and mixed-use districts instead of exempting those districts, and allows for a determination to be made when a conflict arises within the code regarding screening. One of the reasons that this has come before us, it was noticed in the 27 West Park that staff had limited ability to take a look at the particular development and come up with a reasonable recommendation instead of requiring. In that case, there were 5 other variations requested, but there could be a situation where a site distance evaluation by staff would have made that much easier for anybody, including a private property owner building a residential structure, if it's in a mixed use. So.
Thank you.
Did you have anything? The staff recommends approval.
Okay, do we have a motion on the ordinance? Trustee Murphy?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Corkery? Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, item 9D, an ordinance amending Article 14 of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Villa Park regarding various measurements and definitions. Manager Harline.
This ordinance will make following amendments to Article 14, measurements and definitions. They correct Scrivener's errors within the section, updates the encroachment table, and clarifies and adds definitions. Director McLaughlin is here for any questions, and as with all the other ones, this amends the articles in the zoning appendix to our code.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion on the ordinance? Trustee Murphy?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Corkery? Questions or comments? Bless you.
Thank you.
Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, move on to ordinances. Item 10A is petition PZ 22-0012, 530 East Park Boulevard variation. Manager Harlan.
Before you is the approval of the petition PZ 22-0012 for a variation from the rear setback requirement in the RS-7.5 zoning district of the basic zoning ordinance Appendix C for setback of 15 feet where 40 feet is required per section 11.5. Their variations has been recommended by the staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission with 3 specific requirements. There's a lengthy memo in the packet, and if you need additional information for staff, please don't hesitate. We have the director here and a member of the Planning and Zoning Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you. If you have questions.
The petitioner is also here.
The petitioner's here too.
Oh, the petitioner's here too.
Okay, do we have a motion on the petition?
There's.
Trustee Kozar.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, so it is approved, and you can go ahead with your addition. You're correct. Okay, item 10B is an ordinance providing for the issue of $697,000 general obligation limited tax bonds, Series 2022B of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, and for the levy of direct annual tax to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds. Andrew Harley.
Yes, on October 24th, the village held a public hearing to receive public comment on the proposal to sell bonds up to the $1.5 million for the purpose of providing funds to pay debt service on the village general obligation refunding bonds, alternative revenue source, Series 217, and general obligation bonds, alternative revenue source, Series 22A. These alternative revenue bonds are to be funded by rollover bonds issued each fall, which are paid back using our non-home rule debt service extensions, or DSEB. The DSEB capacity provides some additional funding for capital purchases, such as vehicles and building improvements. The rollover bonds were competitively bid on November 10. A favorable rate was received, and a total aggregate principal amount of $697,000. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
There's also a lengthy memo in your packet, and we have a representative here from Spear, the financial organization that helped us put this bond sale together. If and he's ready to make answer any comments and make a brief comment if you allow.
Okay. First one.
Thank you very much. I will be
Excuse me.
brief.
We're just going to make if we can have a motion on the ordinance. Trustee Corkery? A second? Trustee Kumar? Okay, thank you. I wanted to get that up
Thank you.
first.
Good evening. I'm Dan Forbes from Spear Financial. We do the bond work for the village, and we very much appreciate that. This is the annual limited bond sale that the village does, and a lot of other home rule, non-home rule communities do. Those that have a debt service extension base, which the village has, is allowed under Illinois law to issue bonds that are limited tax, and they're limited by this debt service extension base, which is the total dollar amount of the debt service levy. So this is very restrictive with respect to what the board can do. A lot of communities, including the village, they use these funds to pay debt service on existing outstanding bonds, typically alternate revenue bonds, which need to be issued by non-home rule units under Illinois statute, and whatever is left over typically can be used for capital improvements. You can't use this for operating funds. This is something the village has done for a number of years in a row, and my job is to report how the sale went, and it went extremely well. Interest rates have gone up. That's no surprise to anyone. The sale last year was at an interest rate of about 0.5%. We're selling these bonds, which were very competitively sold. We received 5 bids. You didn't just receive 1 or 2 bids, so it shows that there were not a lot of people bidding the bonds in particular. The rate that was the best bid was a 3.58 by Republic Bank, and we would recommend them. They're from Oak Brook, Illinois. One reason I could recommend the sale, though, is the increase is about 3% over what was sold last year. If you look at the 1-year treasury, which this is a 1-year piece of paper, that is at a 4.59. That has gone up over 4%. So actually, in the banks looking at the credit of the village, the financial management and all, arguably this has been one of your better sales relative to where the market has been. So it's been competitive. The rates relative to actually the baseline, the treasury rates, have not gone up as high with respect to these particular bonds. And I just want to review just a couple things because it's done just once a year, if that's okay. It's a 1-year piece of paper. The bonds are issued within the debt service extension base. That's at limit for annual debt service. And that is, for this year, it's about $720,000. So this 1-year piece of paper with the interest, the total amount due will be $719,000 and change. So we stay within that debt service extension base. Bond counsel, then your legal bonding authority, then can say the bonds are properly issued within the extension base. We put in our packet, and well, I refer to the packet, it's a Spear recommendation letter. I don't know if the board has that. But we put in there all of the costs. We want to make sure everybody understands what, who's getting, what the advisors are getting as far as fees. And in this particular case, there are 2 outstanding alternate bonds of the village, the 2017s, the 22As. The payments that will be made from these proceeds will be of the December payments. That's the principal payment, the primary principal payments. The bonds are not going to fund directly the June payment in 2023. If you recall, the alternate bonds, as most municipal bonds, are paid semi-annually. However, due to the way the law works, there is also, after you've made your alternate bond payments, there's a capital, a leftover amount that can be used for capital purposes. So if you use your operating capital funds to make those June payments and you use this as a reimbursement, you still have money left over not only for capital, but it will cover the June payments also. It's Illinois statute. If I was able to write the law myself, I would make it different. But the important thing is you have the funds here from the proceeds to pay not only the December, but the June payments through this sort of mechanism. That said, I appreciate your time. I'm here to answer any questions. Chuck Howard has been very helpful for us, so kudos to him. I do think that given the reception for the bids and the level of the bidding, it's also kudos to the board as far as the credit worthiness from what the financial institutions see. And congratulations. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions here? Any comments? Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very
Good
much.
to see you all. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, appreciate you. Okay, seeing no questions or comments?
I just want to, Melissa, is it important that we use the language just from the Brian's, do we need to use this specific language? It's okay. All right. Okay. So that right there. Okay. All right. That,
No, I
No.
mean, for purposes of passing
Yeah.
the ordinance at this point, no, the
Yeah, we don't-
language contained in the ordinance is sufficient. So
Okay.
we could just pass it.
okay, we don't have, he
Yes.
doesn't have to say that out loud. I just want to
Correct.
make sure. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't want to get, he was very specific in that line, so, all right.
Clerk Henneke, please.
Okay, Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Silella,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, move on to item 11A, resolutions. Resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an engineering services agreement with Trans Systems Corporation of Schaumburg, Illinois, for Phase 2 design engineering of the Iowa and Vermont Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $120,526. Manager Harley.
The Iowa and Vermont Improvement Project is proposed in the Village of Villa Park's Capital Improvement Program. This project's objective is to improve the condition of the roadway and water system capacity and reliability through selected street improvements and the replacement of the existing water main. The project's engineering design is budgeted for this calendar year 2022, and staff would like to proceed with the design efforts. Staff recommends approval of an engineering services agreement with Trans Systems Corporation of Schaumburg, Illinois, for an amount not to exceed, for Phase 2 design engineering of the Iowa and Vermont Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $120,526. Funding for this agreement will be from the Street Improvement and Water Supply Funds. The village was awarded a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, that will be covering up to $600,000 of the construction costs. Director Guerra is on hand if you have any questions. Staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Solella? Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Henneke, please.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 11B, it's a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, accepting a proposal from Water Well Solutions Illinois LLC of Elburn, Illinois, for the decommission and abandonment of well number 10 in an amount not to exceed $100,000. Manager Harley.
Yeah, the staff recommends proceeding with the decommissioning and abandonment of well number 10. Staff prepared and publicly advertised a request for proposals for the work and received proposals from 3 qualified firms. Staff recommends acceptance of the proposal from Water Well Solutions Illinois LLC of Elburn, Illinois, in the amount of $79,870, plus expected but currently unknown additional costs for material, labor, equipment, and the total amount of which is not expected to exceed $100,000. So there is a lengthy memo in this, included in your packet. The Director of Public Works is here to explain if you have any question about the time and materials in addition to the $79,870. But this is we are not using this well, and it's important to remove it for some liability issues, et cetera.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Solella, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick? Okay, any questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
The liability issue that you guys are talking about, it's not insurable? Any liabilities?
It's, the liability is environmental. I don't know if you want to give it, yeah. We haven't used it to supply water system since.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah, so it's not, thank you, Your Honor, and Trustee Kumar, to answer your question. The liability is not so much for endangerment of employees, it's more the liability environmentally. It was an emergency backup well that's, I don't think, ever activated. It's in need of significant repairs, over like double the cost of what it would be to abandon it. However, as long as we keep that well in service, even in the emergency backup role, we still have to document testing and ensure groundwater protection in that area, and a lot of other liabilities in the environmental sense to protect that well, which is not needed. I think we're looking at neighborhood of $300,000 to make that well operational. So it's a reduction of that future liability in terms of quality of water if ever needed.
Any well has access to groundwater, so it's an easy way to pollute groundwater to be properly solved.
And it should be pointed in terms of case of emergency, we do have interconnects on the DePage Water Commission. So we are interconnected with Lombard in 2 locations and with Elmhurst, with the possibility of if we ever wanted to, enter into agreements with Addison for another possibly interconnect location to ensure that we have water in addition to our 3 million gallons of storage that we have on hand at any given time with our storage tanks.
How deep is that well?
I think it's like 1,400 feet.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep.
How many wells, if any, we have in that village currently?
This is our last one.
Is this one?
I should have pointed out, once we did decommission this, we cannot drill that on that location. It's too close to Sugar Creek, so we have to find an alternate location anyways, because of proximity, and that's where the groundwater contamination kind of comes as well, with Sugar Creek being literally, I think, 50 feet away from well.
Are we allowed to drill another one?
We would have to do
County
all
laws?
proper steps and documentation and putting through the EPA.
There are other villages in.
With our interconnect,
No, go ahead, please.
But I do, Lombard has, I think, 2 or 3 emergency wells still, and I think there's a few emergency wells as well. But in that, we buy our water from Page Water Commission. There's a lot of other communities that have that source, and that probably be on reliance on something that occurs water supply.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Clerk Nicky, please.
Okay, Trustee Corey?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar? Yes. Trustee Zoella?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick? Yes. President Zone?
Yes. Item 11C is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, estimating the tax levy 2022 in compliance with the Truth in Taxation Law. Major highlight.
Tax levy process begins with the estimating resolution and will be considered for adoption and filed in December. The village tax is tax capped, so the majority of the levy can be increased by lesser of the consumer price index CPI, which is 5% this levy year, or 5%, since they're the same, it's immaterial, but resolution estimates the overall increase, which the village and library tax levies of 5% of after all abatements. Final levy amounts may be lowered by DuPage County in accordance with tax cap laws. Anyway, the staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion? Corkery, second. Trustee Patrick. Okay, any questions or comments? Trustee Kumar.
if the CPI is more than 5, but we can only do 5, is that?
Correct. They just happen to be the same.
Oh, it's equal?
Yeah, they're equal this year, but they aren't.
Generally.
Obviously, the CPI usually isn't that high.
Oh, yeah, it is, this year is high. It's 7, actually.
Oh, is it 7? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Thank you for the update. Yeah. And unfortunately, Chuck wasn't feeling well, that's why he's not.
Oh, so is it we can only do, can we do the CPI of 7, or are we doing only 5?
5 is the cap.
Cap, so,
Yep.
so we're under the CPI.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Trustee Kozak?
So are we voting to raise our property taxes by 5% of what they are currently?
This is the estimate, the final, this is basically saying this is what our estimate is, and this is what you could get if you raised it by 5%. The decision to raise or freeze the tax would be made at the December 19th meeting is where we have it set to be approved. I guess we could have it ready. We'd have the public hearing on it on the 12th of December, and then the decision could be made that night or the 19th. You are not obligated to raise it by 5% by approving this estimate.
And if we raised it by 5%, we would be increasing revenue about $12 million. Is that about right?
No, I think the increment is, yeah, I'm sorry, it is 12 million, I think the difference is about 1.4, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
So I'm filling in for the finance director.
Assistant
So
village
overall, because it includes our levy as well as the library's levy, you're looking about a 529,000 increase across the two. For just the village's levy, the increase of the 5% is 283,781, based on the two. So that's with the 5%.
So the increase in revenue coming to the village based on increasing everybody's taxes by 5% is $283,000.
Yes,
Yes.
which you are not doing tonight.
And what's happening tonight is this is a part of the truth and taxation process, and this is a resolution of the village board stating that the anticipated tax levy is not going over that 5%. It's estimated at 4.7%. So it's just a resolution that this board is determining that it does not exceed that 5%. At the meetings in December, that's the time where you'll be approving the actual tax levy and considering approval of any increase. But this does not approve the increase. This is just a resolution approving or determining that any tax levy which would be imposed for the, and approved at the December meeting is not over 5%.
And if we voted it down, it would be 0%, right?
Not this resolution. This resolution does not impact the tax levy ordinance. This is just a resolution determining that the village staff has estimated the tax levy, and that tax levy is, that proposed tax levy estimation is compliant with the truth and taxation laws, and that it cannot exceed 5%. But this does not reduce the tax levy, so if you voted this resolution down, it would not impact the tax levy ordinance. It would just be saying that the estimate, voting it down would just be saying that the determination was not proper.
So-
It would not reduce the tax levy.
Right, and then we would also, because there's certain timelines we have to hit, and so we have to read the estimate of the levy at this board meeting. That then triggers our public hearing, which is where we can have a broader discussion about how the board wants to, if you want to change that 5% or go anywhere. You cannot go above the 5% because then we would be in violation of the truth and taxation, which would require a whole separate timeline of events. But voting this down or, would put us at risk of not being able to file our levy on time with DuPage County, which would put us at risk for our property taxes because it's all a very structured environment.
And would probably have an impact on the library as well.
Yes.
But this board would still have an opportunity to actually vote on the tax levy ordinance that will be happening in December.
Correct.
Okay, so this allows us to vote and basically say, staff has done their homework on this, it's accurate, but we'll have a broader discussion about what we want to do with our taxes in Villa Park at a later date.
Correct. This does not commit the board to approving anything in, anything in December. You can make the amendments as deemed appropriate.
All right, thank you.
This forces it to be in the public record what those numbers are.
Yeah, and this is done, this is done every year here. Okay, any other questions? Okay, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Casson.
Yes. Item 11D is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving and authorizing the execution of a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Local 964, American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Council 31, AFL-CIO. Manager Harline.
The attached agreement has been negotiated between the village leadership and the leadership of Local 964, the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Council 31, AFL-CIO, also known as AFSCME, over the last several months. The current version has been ratified by a vote of the members of Local 964 and presented for approval to the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees. Approval by the board is recommended of the staff, is the recommendation of the staff, and the staff, Michael Guerra, Suzanne McVeigh, Greg Gola, Rich Salerno, and Mike Rivas, Chief Mike Rivas. I thank you all for all the effort you put in, and everyone in 964 who also contributed, who I'm sure are all watching at home. It's good to have this done.
Okay, do we have a motion? Trustee Patrick?
President, I'd like to make that motion.
Second, Trustee Sillella? Yeah, and I would like to thank staff. Yeah, I know this was a tough one this year. You guys worked long and hard to get this one done, so thanks for all your hard work.
Well, I worked half as hard because I got here halfway through, so.
There you go. No, we don't bother with you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
President Casson.
Yes. Okay, item 11E is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving and authorizing the execution of a side letter agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Local 964, AFSCME, Council 31, AFL-CIO. Manager Harline.
In addition to the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the village and Local 964 of AFSCME, a side letter has been negotiated to settle a grievance from the AFSCME Local 964. This side letter makes clear that the grievance is settled by the adoption of this letter and the CBA that grants them a 0.5% wage increase as of January 1, 2022, matching a raise given to the Fraternal Order of Police Bargaining Unit. Staff recommends passage of the resolution authorizing the village manager to sign the agreement as well. This is it stems out essentially what is nicknamed in the industry the Me Too clause, and was triggered when a raise was given of 0.5% more to the FOP bargaining unit than had previously been given to AFSCME. And one of the things that we were able to do with some other parts of the negotiation was to remove that so that we could negotiate with each bargaining unit truly separately and address each one's needs without having the issue of changing economic conditions in between negotiations affecting already concluded negotiations. So staff definitely recommends passage of the resolution.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Murphy?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? Trustee Corkery? Okay, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Yes, Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Casson.
Yes. Item 11F is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving design and architectural services from 3D Design Studio to complete the open space land acquisition and development, or the OSLAD grant renovations for Lufkin Park. Manager Harline.
Staff of the Parks and Recreation Commission recommend the village board approve a resolution for the retention of 3D design of Grays Lake, Illinois in the amount not to exceed of $108,725 for architectural and landscape services associated with the renovation of Lufkin Park. I believe we have a representative here from 3D Design, and Greg Gullah, who is still here and awake from the committee of the whole meeting earlier.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Trustee Kumar?
I will second that motion.
Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
Just a little bit of fearfulness of changing rates and so on and so forth, given our current condition with our community center. I want to see the project go through in the full scope that it was originally presented. So any word on the street on costs?
Yeah, I'm going to defer to Park and Rec Director Gullah for any updates on.
Well, I'll pass it along to Dan, but some of the amenities, like the playground, we budgeted a certain amount, and we'll go through the cooperative purchase program. So roughly $147,000 for a playground. That's what will stay within that budget. We might not be able to get as many amenities on the playground as we wanted, but we will be within the budget to get as much as we can. And I'll pass it along to Dan.
Yeah, I would just like to, I'm Dan Dalzell, 3D Design. First, I'd like to tell you, Mr. President, trustees, staff, and public, I'm delighted to be here again. I've been here many times before, and it's just an honor and a pleasure to be before you once again, and I'm excited to be working with you again. And I would like to reiterate that that is front and foremost in my approach. That's why we had done so much work at the front end when we submitted the grant application and did detailed cost estimating, picking equipment. Now, given that you approve that we move forward, the first steps we're going to do is go cycle back through the entire plan, double check all the numbers, fine tune and do design development, because we do have a building, we do have a performance area, we do have a water spray park, we have a playground, we have a floating pier, we have a trail, we have a cool ninja course playground. So all of those things are going to be scrutinized, and I'm going to come back to you on the 19th with a final design with all of the elements and an updated cost estimate. And we know that we are sticking to the 1.144 budget that was already approved. So that is our target, and that is our goal, and that is our charge.
Any other questions, comments? Good luck. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing that final design.
Yes, me too. I look forward to being back next month.
Okay. Clerk Renecke.
Okay, Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Salala?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, with that, we'll move to public comments on non-agenda items. Do we have anyone signed up? We have anyone here, public comments, non-agenda? Okay, village clerk's report.
No report, thank you.
Okay, village trustees report. We'll start on my left. Trustee Kumar.
I'm just going to keep quiet today.
Wow.
It's a rare one.
You okay? Trustee Corkery.
No report this week.
Okay. Trustee Murphy.
I just have one comment. The end date for the Villa Park Office Equipment Thanksgiving Food Drive is Wednesday, November 16th. And we're very pleased with everyone's participation so far, but we still have 1 or 2 more days, and we would encourage everyone, if you can, to drop off some items for the food drive. There's a box downstairs of the village hall. Thank you, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Just want to say that we possibly have some snow in the forecast coming up, along with the holidays coming up. So I just ask everybody to be safe out there, drive safely, take care of one another, and just thank you to our first responders, the fire department, and the police department, keeping us safe out there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Kozar.
I want to thank staff for all their work on that ASME contract. It went a long time. It was a lot of work. I appreciate you all keeping us informed. in executive session, so you did a lot of work there. It all panned out. Thank you. Also, I had an opportunity last week to sit down with our new Community Development Director, Mark. I think Mark has the right attitude for community development, so it was a nice, refreshing change, and I'm glad he's in that position, so thank you. We have a Liquor Commission meeting tomorrow, Tuesday. Will that Liquor Commission meeting be on YouTube? Will the public be able to see that?
We don't usually, we haven't made any arrangement with Suncom. I could see if they're available, but
I think that's important.
Typically commission meetings we don't, outside of P&Z.
I can check with him and ask Dash and see if anyone's available to do some kind of broadcast, at least videotape of it.
That would be great. It doesn't meet that often, though.
Yeah, that's
the
what
rare time it does. I think having a meeting on Tuesday at 30 doesn't really invite public participation or a public audience to come. So if it's on YouTube, that lends to transparency. We make a lot of money off our liquor establishments in town, and the liquor commission has a lot of power. So the public should be able to see what those things are all about. I'd like to see them recorded and published. And to that point, you mentioned that planning zoning is recorded. However, the last meeting and it seems like we've been having some trouble getting those posted. As of the time that this meeting started, it went up. So, Nick, you're the liaison. Maybe you could tell us what happened in that meeting, so everybody knows and can't watch it.
Yeah, the last Z meeting, there was an item on there, was a sign for this 45 Joint School, and it passed. The only variation was, what was the, what I call it, the variation was 4. Yeah, please, Director McLaughlin. But it was a minor variation, and it was on their sign they're putting up there.
Yeah, just to read, it was an amendment to an already existing special use for the plan development. So they're asking for amendment to that to include a digital display panel in their new freestanding monument. So no variation on setback or height or size. It was just for that particular piece of infrastructure technology in the site. Record approval 6-1.
Great.
And it's just a small part. The sign's, I think, 4 by 8. And the big part is only
15 inches by 3 something.
Yeah, so it's not big, like a giant, something like that. That works.
All right. So really, I mean, it's just, we gotta just hear these videos uploaded. I don't know how we improve upon that.
I don't know what
We've had some stumbles and challenges, so if we could work on that, that would be good. Thank you.
Trustee Slaughter. Okay. Go to the residents' reports, a couple of things. First off, congratulations to Willowbrae School girls flag football team, who were state champs the first year doing that, and I understand they're going national. They just want a regional, I believe, and they're going to Las Vegas on their next stop. So maybe we'll have national champions here in Battle Park. So congratulations to them. Leaf pickup, we discussed that a little when Tron was here. They continue until November 9th. 3 leaf pickup, Battle Park. They have to be in the paper bags. If you put your leaves in the garbage in, they have to have a sticker. I'd like to commend the officer kitchen of the police department, and I don't know how many officers are doing it on Halloween, but he was going around town and got candy and music going to his PA, and I think the residents enjoyed it. He stopped our block, and all the residents I spoke to really enjoyed it. They really nice seeing him out there in the community, and like I say, if any other officer did, they get our best.
Thriller.
Yeah, he's definitely enough to be a one proof, but he did great. It was really well received by the village. And finally, Thanksgiving comes, the Dane Gibbons Teacher Act will be again in Elmhurst. 9 o'clock Thanksgiving morning, pre-registration is this Saturday and Sunday, the 19th, 20th, at Knights Columbus Almhurst, 11 till 4 o'clock. You can go online and register Dan Gibbons .org. And you go there and sign up, and we'll hopefully have a good day and out there with 1,000 of our closest and friends. Like, see you out there and enjoy that. And that's all I have. And we'll go to the president, the village manager report.
I'm not going to say except to thank the board and assure you these are probably the longest couple of meetings I've had for a while. I do appreciate the effort you put in. I'll cut it off because we still have the session.
Thank you. Hey, with that, we go to 17 executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2C2 regarding collective negotiating matters between public body and its employees or their representative for deliberations concerning salary schedules, one or more classes of employees. C6, the setting of a place for sale or lease of property owned by the body. And C11, during litigation when action against affecting or on behalf of the village has been filed pending before court, or when the village finds that an end is probable or imminent. The motion for executive session. Trustee Kumar.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second, Trustee Solella. Clerk.
Okay, trustee Kozak?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Corcoran?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Sala?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar? Yes. And Casella?
Yes. We adjourn out of our meeting from executive session. So just everyone knows next meeting will be next week, Monday the 21st. We move it up because of the Thanksgiving holiday. So we will be back here a week from tonight at 7. Thanks for showing, and we'll see you